Hi everyone, greetings according to your time and your location. I hope we're all good. Well, during our last discussion, we introduced the book Disappointment. Well, I'd like us to dive in from page 1. Sorry, it's raining here. Then it goes like this. Adigwe woke up an hour after midnight. The day had not only been laborious, it had also been eventful because since her husband was bedridden 6 months back, before it was the first time he was sound enough or seemed to be stable enough to discuss sensibly for up to an hour. Her husband's voice and all the issues he raised echoed in her hearing throughout the day, and even when she was asleep, the issue he discussed were family matters and very touching. They bordered on the way forward for the family. He was able to cover the fate of all the children of the family as well as Adigwe's fate. The discussion ended on a note of survival. The discussion bowled her up, and it was in high spirits that she churned through the activeness of the day. She had concluded the chores at the hospital before the discussion and was actually set for a trip to their residence when Dikeogu drew her attention to the family dialogue. She did not expect it because her husband had not shown enough sign of recuperation. Adigwe's response was quick and instant, and unlike in the past attempts when she had to probe and prompt him, he was entirely initiative throughout the section. He was organized too, and dealt with a good number of subjects. Dikeogu started the dialogue with an apology to his wife on the possible cause of his sickness. It was not the first time he was involved in self-medication. It had become habitual to him over the years, and that was the reason why he did not accept the doctor's conclusion pertaining to the cause of his sickness. He didn't accept it for quite a long time. The doctor of the Messiah Medical Center had declared that Dikeogu took some drugs which his system did not require. The doctor's diagnosis condemned both the drugs and their dosage. The doctor also decried the counter drug taken to combat the effects of the drug. He strongly maintained that the counter drug pegylated and weakened a major organ, making Dikeogu's case somewhat terminal. Dikeogu told his wife in a course of the dialogue that he was waking up from a trance, and within the period it lasted, it was revealed to him that he would fully recover in no time from then. His children that were temporarily out of school on account of sponsorship problem would soon resume their schooling. And once that happened, they would cease to ask for help from two of their relations. They would also put on hold the sales of their belongings. The proceeds from the ones they had sold had sustained them that much. There was need to secure the remaining ones. Dikeogu also narrated to his wife that he saw a business empire grow out of the family's mirror trading. He had seen himself winning a contract after whose execution the profit would uplifted the fortune of everyone in his family. The profit was be so much that the family engaged in the business of building materials, and to the level of importation, there is eventually emerged a successful family. Dikeogu saw a rapid development in the pace of his recovery during the trance. The liver problem was healing on its own instead of medications, and it would ultimately heal up. The doctor had said it would take a long time, but he captured it differently in the dreamland. It had been monologue of some sort, a session characterized by surprises and high hopes. But were these issues real? Was the session real? Were these not mere wishful thinking of her husband? What were the signs of recovery in him? Adigwe was talked about by these doubts within the interlude observed by her husband. The force in Adigwe was two and were diametrically opposed to each other. One kept on telling her not to rely much on what her husband was saying, as it was capable of breaking her heart if things went away. It was better for her to remain calm and stoic, as she had been throughout the period. The thought continued to tell her that prayers, humility, and positive thinking would see the family through the crisis. At the same time, the other thought was telling her that the tribulations had ended and the days of anguish numbered. Adigwe thought about the matter this way and the other way. She discovered that her husband was not yet done. She discovered too that the stamina in him was dropping. There was some tremor in his voice, and the compassion in his cardiac system was not sufficient enough to take him far. She urged him, non-verbally, to finish up. I thank you a lot for being a good mother to everyone in this family and for your patience with me at this time of tribulation. You have not wavered in your perseverance and love for every member of this family. The Almighty, who has kept me alive for the past 6 months, will not disappoint us. His mercies are infinite. Dikeogu looked at his wife in the face. Adigwe looked at her husband, also in the face, and for about a minute they gazed at each other. No words were uttered, but volumes were spoken. Dikeogu continued, "You are leaving the hospital very soon, and as you told me 2 days ago, you will also shuttle to our Obodoani residence. Proceed to the house of Ekocha as soon as you get home and tell him that those plots of land are no longer for sale. The part payment with him should be returned to whosoever gave him the money. Do not take any questions from him. Just deliver my message." He drew his wife's attention to her relationship with Enema and expressed some reservations. He told her that people of divergent ideas of life should not be close enough to be the best of friends. It is only birds of the same feathers that flock together. It took Adigwe a fairly long time to fully wake up from the laborious sleep that resulted from the too many activities of the last day. It was usual for her to remain in bed for some time anytime she woke up. During the period, she unfailingly reflected on the previous day's engagements preparatory for those of the ensuing day. On this occasion, her mind covered the dialogue at the hospital and the chores that took much of her time and delayed her trip to their hometown. She came into Obodani late and came back to the metropolis of Alaba also late. It was so late that she couldn't take her supper. She only managed to have her shower and ascended her bed. As soon as she finished with it, her children were still all around her when they discovered that she was in the land of the sleeping. They disengaged from her. The first to occur to her was her trip to Obodani. The little time she had was gainfully utilized. She was able to clean up their compound in less than 1 hour. She made straight to the house of Ekocha as soon as she finished with the compound cleaning. Ekocha was leaving his house for an appointment when Adigwe called, but as soon as he saw her, he cancelled the appointment. Ekocha was full of smile, but before he knew it, Adigwe had delivered her message without preambles and formalities. The disappointment Ekocha wanted to argue with Adigwe, but because she was not in that mood at all, she pronounced the word "period" and walked out of the compound. The chat she had with her husband came back to the fore. She was happy